All right, welcome back to another podcast with Kanye, Willis, and Shane Blackledge. K&S are getting ready to discuss. Let's go ahead with Ben Askren, Jake Paul, the fight card last night. So, what did you think about this Thriller Fight Night?
I thought it was the most dumbest thing I ever watched. It was like a music. It was like a music show. I was like, "Where's the fights at?" Oh my god, the music that they played was so inappropriate. The fights were terrible. The commentators were terrible. It wasn't professional at all. I muted it halfway through the show because it was so annoying to watch. It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was watching a fight card and turned into a rap concert, but it was just like, the girls were like half naked, just showing their bodies, shit. It was just like I felt like I was inside of a strip club. I was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, there was foul language and cussing, and I'm like,
Yep.
I just want to watch. I just want to watch a sports event. I don't want to be exposed to all these other things. It's like I don't like secular music. I don't. It's garbage. Like, I mean, if look, you had some of the old rap, icons. Like you had E40, you had Ice Cube, you had Snoop Dogg, and they all like it. To me, it was like, okay,
And they were
30
drinking
years
during the
later,
broadcast.
you're still rapping about the same stuff. Like this is gross. Like
They're
I
like in the 60s. It wasn't.
Yeah, so I hope going forward the Thriller Fight Club they really clean it up because I hope they listen to some fans because I mean I did enjoy watching the fight.
Yeah, the fight itself was, great.
The fight was good. The fight was good. Um,
I thought their entrances were a little over the top, especially with Jake Paul bringing that robot out. I thought it was just like, why you have to do that?
and like I don't know, it wasn't very to me. It wasn't very competitive because for one, you got like Frank Mir fought. All right, and obviously he was way out of shape, fighting a professional boxer. I mean,
Yeah, way there.
why couldn't that have been two good boxers? So like I didn't really like that because
Yeah, you could say the same thing for Jake Paul. Ben Askren doesn't know how to box. He knows how to wrestle, but he doesn't know how to box. So it wasn't competitive at all.
yeah,
And
right. Now the only fight that I thought was competitive was that Progress Red
yep.
in Red Catch. That was a pretty good fight because the first couple of rounds, Ivan was in there. He was, doing his thing. And then as those rounds progressed, Progress was just,
Yep.
dominant fighter.
Yeah.
Bizarre ending. Bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, he made it sound like he got hit with the low punch. And upon watching the replay, dude, he completely missed. I mean, he just rubbed the side with his forearm. So
it wasn't with his like fist. It was with his forearm. So I was like, are you faking it or are you?
Okay, no, that was a faking it. So at that point, it's like, okay, this is TNT, this is WWE, this is set up, and I don't know, man. To me, it just feel I got the whole feel of the whole card was just I don't know, fake. I don't know. I did not like it, especially after watching that Progress fight where he was doing good. He was doing damage. He's about ready to finish the fight, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this guy gets injured without getting hit, drops to the ground in agony and pain, crying, this and that. Had to go out on a stretcher. Dude, we watched the replay. you never got hit at all.
Yeah, he never did.
He never got hit. It was a miss. So do you not realize that we're watching replay? I mean,
Like, let's be real.
yeah. And okay, so the only part that I liked, I think I enjoyed Justin Bieber. When Justin
Yeah,
Bieber
Justin
came
Bieber
out,
was great.
I
Justin
thought
Bieber was
I thought he
great.
did great. The music wasn't inappropriate. He sang very well, very good.
Yeah,
That was the highlight of the night was Justin Bieber. It wasn't even Jake Paul.
I think it was a little awkward because he was like talking to himself, like he was telling people to jump when there was nobody there. It was a little awkward with nobody in the audience.
Yeah.
You know, uh, other than that, I thought it was a great performance. The songs he sang were great. Um, let's talk about the Jake Paul fight.
So Jake Paul, what's next for him? I mean, yeah, you've gotten your 3 knockouts by 3 people that have, no skill set in boxing. I mean, at this point, pick a weight
He,
class and work your way up, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that at this point, your next fight needs to be maybe
against a real boxer.
let's say the 10th ranked, whatever his weight class is going to be. I mean, if he's going to be a welterweight at 170, then let's see him fight a welterweight. Let's
I could even see him cutting down to like 152 because he's still if he loses more weight he can be leaned out.
yeah.
He's just coming out. He's just weighing what he walks around at.
I think at this point it's time for him to jump inside of a real ring, and fight a real professional, like somebody, maybe the 10th ranked guy, however that may be, or the 15th ranked guy, whatever. Just it needs to be
Because he's not. The problem is he's not facing these elite boxers. These real professional boxers that actually know how to box.
Yeah.
Ben Askren came from a wrestling background. The basketball player came from the NBA background. The other fighter he fought was a YouTuber. Like he hasn't fought like a real boxer.
Right. Yeah. So it even though he knocked out Nate Robinson and he knocked out Ben Askren, it's not impressive because both guys are not boxers. So it's not very impressive. So, to me, he was like, oh, this is my dream. And, I'm up here with these legacy. I mean, you are up there. You have popularity. Yes, you're famous, but you're not a great elite boxer yet. You haven't boxed anybody that's an actual professional boxer yet. So he's got some, he's got some opportunities, I guess, to prove himself to be a boxer if that's what he wants to do. I mean, I'd like to see him in the cage, Now, could he do anything in MMA? He's got a better shot at boxing, I think, than MMA. I mean,
he used to wrestle, but I don't think he can hold a candle to the people in Bellator or the UFC.
Yeah. 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 So, anyways, it was a good knockout. I mean, Ben, to me, it was a little bit of an early stoppage. Just a little bit. I would have liked to have seen them go on again, because Ben did get up and he said, I can fight, and then just let him go. And then you just, as a ref, you watch closely. If he gets knocked down again, he gets knocked down. But I think it was just a smidge early on that. Okay. So there we have it. Jake Paul, Ben Askren. Ben Askren, just I hope you stay retired, because at this point in the game, you have nothing else to prove. I mean, you're one of the best collegiate wrestlers. You're NCAA champion, Olympic wrestler, Big Ten champion. I mean, you've done a lot of stuff for the sport.
Yeah,
there's nothing else left. I mean,
and he has his wrestling academy where he trains like top tier wrestlers around the country. Like he's,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
I would just, continue my career doing something else, but retire from combat sports. Absolutely. All right. So now the next thing that I want to bring up is the UFC fight card. Whittaker Gaslin fight card. It was a UFC Fight Night
on ESPN. Like
Luis Pena. So he was the first on the main card. He fought.
I gotta be
Munoz. I think Munoz. I
gotta be honest. I thought Luis Pena lost.
Yeah, well, it was really close. I think
I thought
probably could have scored it either way.
I thought those 2 takedowns won it, but what can you do? It was close.
It was close. It was close. And that's what happens when you lead things to decision. They both went in to fight and they were throwing down. Like they were punching and throwing and kicking. Yeah, they were doing
I can't think of a fight where especially in that fight where it's not competitive. That fight was awesome to watch. Especially with Luis Pena coming off a 10-month layoff. I think he performed well. You can tell he was a little flat-footed the first round. You could probably give it to the other guy. But after that fight was really fun to watch. It was back and forth.
It was. Yeah, it was exciting. And they were both in great shape. They both threw a lot of punches. They were both pressing forward. I mean, they were clipping each other with big shots, man. The first round was nothing but fireworks, in my opinion. I mean,
those knees that Luis Pena threw were awesome.
Yeah.
I thought he hurt him with a few knees, a few times, just caught him coming in, and it was an awesome fight.
It was. I'd watch it again. So Alex Munoz, keep coming back, keep it up. You're really close to itching your way into the lightweight division. You got a couple of losses in a row. Get back in, get on the grind. You looked really good. Keep it up. And then hats off to Luis Pena. You did a fantastic job. I think you pulled it off, and you did very well. You finished strong. And that's what matters, to finish strong. All right, the Tracy Cortez, Justin Kish.
I thought it was just one-sided, just because Cortez was, more of a grappler based. She knew where she wanted to take the fight. Other than that, it was just, it was okay fight. It wasn't really competitive to watch. It was pretty dominant.
Yeah. I would say so too. For a women's flyweight fight, I thought it was good. Obviously Cortez dominated that fight and won. She's 9-1. She's got a bright future. She's got a champion in that flyweight division that is fierce, strong, witty, has grappling, striking, everything. And
speaking of that champion, she'll be fighting next week, and we'll talk about her coming up.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And we haven't seen her fought in a while, so I'm excited about that. Moving on to the next, we got Jacob Malkoun versus Abdul Razak Al Hassan. I actually called Al Hassan to win that fight, and I got it wrong.
I think those takedowns really killed him.
That dude can wrestle. That's what decided this one. He just kept taking dude down, control, just slams. I mean, he was
also
slamming that guy.
Well, also, Hassan has never been out of the first round. Usually his fights, they said like 10 of his KOs have come in the first round. So he's never been out of the first round.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And
you can
and
tell.
Jacob he was just a dominant wrestler. Last night, he just kept taking him down, kept controlling, and that was the story. That's what it was. So, yep, he moved his record to 5-1. Good job for Jacob.
Next fight, Arlovsky. You know,
He is now, I think tied. I think with like 3 or 4 fighters for the most wins in the UFC. He's like ranked 3rd, I think, like that. I think he's tied with John Bones Jones, 20 wins in the UFC. That's a remarkable feat right there. To have 20
42 years old. 42 years old. He's still the UFC.
And he looked good last night. He shocked me.
Like,
I had him losing to Chase Sherman. No, he beat Chase Sherman. He kept landing his punches. He kept just being consistent with him. And yeah, he was hurting that dude, man. You could tell Chase was frustrated. You could tell.
Yeah. I thought it was a great fight to watch. I'm glad that Arlovsky won that. I don't know where he goes from here. I would give him like maybe an older fighter, not like some of these young guns. Give him like, I don't know, somebody older like his age.
Yeah. It still shocks me that he's still in the UFC fighting, but he looked good last night. He really did. So.
Yeah. I bet you Dana White was betting that he would lose that fight. They would cut him. I bet he was hoping for that, so he wouldn't have to give him another fight. I would like him to retire, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen after what he said after the post fight.
Whittaker. Robert fought Kevin Gastelum. It was the main event. Like you had said earlier in the other show last week, it was a fight that was supposed to happen 2 years ago. It slipped through the cracks, never happened. I'm really glad that it did. I think they both came to fight. I think you've seen both fighters connect very well in the earlier rounds, and they were hitting each other solidly. But Whittaker, boy, did he look fresh. I mean, he had head kicks, front kicks, calf kicks, he check kicks, jabs, counters. I mean, he was just relentless. I mean, he had all the tools out, and he looked like a ninja warrior out there. The way he was moving, he was very mobile, very quick, very witty. His kicks were really snappy. Oh man, it was amazing watch. It was amazing to watch for sure.
Yeah, I think he got a little tired, in the midst of the 5th round from all of that movement. I think he needs to work on his cardio some more. But other than that, I thought he, had a perfect performance.
Yeah.
Where does Kelvin go from here?
That's a tough question. I mean, I don't know, because obviously I would like to see him more motivated. It seems like, I think he's, I don't know. I'd like to see him as a healthy welterweight. I think he would do better there.
I mean, he was at welterweight, but then it killed him to go down there. It wasn't like, I wish there was like an in-between division, like a 165-pound, because that's where Kelvin would be great at, that in-between division. If there was a 165 belt, I think Kelvin would be a perfect candidate to go in that division, but
Yep. So I think Robert Whittaker is next in line for the belt. I think he needs to fight Israel Adesanya next. And then after that, it would be what's his name?
Marvin Vittori.
Yeah, I think Vittori would be second.
But the thing is, but the thing is, what do you do with Marvin Vittori though? Because the person who he was supposed to fight has a broken collarbone, and he basically beat everybody else. So you're gonna have him sit out.
He fights Costa.
Yeah, I guess.
Because here's the deal: whoever wins out of him and Costa would arguably be the next in line if Whittaker loses to Adesanya. Then that gives Adesanya an opponent.
But the thing is, I don't want to see Paulo Costa in that rematch quite yet because they literally just fought.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we saw what Israel Adesanya did to him.
Well, he's done a lot though since then. I mean, he's done a lot.
Who, Paulo Costa?
Robert Whittaker.
Yeah. Robert Whittaker has, but Paulo Costa hasn't. I don't want to see that rematch at all. I would rather see Whittaker versus Israel Adesanya than I would rather see Paulo Costa versus Israel Adesanya. Just because how that fight went, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't competitive at all. Like, I don't see how it can change just because of Paulo Costa's fighting style. I think the Rob Whittaker fight can be more competitive, but I think Israel Adesanya still gets it done.
Yeah. It'll be a good fight. I think Whittaker's better. So I think it'll be very competitive. I do want to see that next. And yeah. So and then okay. So what do we got? We have UFC 261. This is coming up this weekend, next Saturday, April 24th. Main card starts at 9:00 p.m. and preliminary start at 7. This one's a stacked card, man. You got Anthony Smith versus Jimmy Crute. Uriah Hall versus Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy Crute wins that fight. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though Anthony Smith looked amazing in his last performance.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So the next fight, I'm going to start with Anthony Smith versus Jimmy Crute. I'm going to probably go with Anthony Smith on that one.
I'm going to have to go with Crute on that one. I'm going to have to go with Crute.
Mm-hmm. He's good.
I want Anthony to win. I just think Crute has the edge.
It'll be a good fight. Uriah Hall versus Chris Weidman.
They both need to retire.
Oh man, this one's a hard one to fight because they're both like, Weidman is a former champion, and after he beat Anthony, after he beat Silva, Anderson the Spider Silva, he just hasn't looked the same since.
Even though he had gotten the win his last time out, I just don't. I think he needs to retire. Same with Uriah Hall. I think they're getting up there in age. They need to go somewhere like Bellator where they can fight old people. And because that's what Bellator does. Bring the old people.
Bellator.
See what they brought over. They brought Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Bellator is the retirement home for MMA. Oh my god!
Sad, but it's the truth. They brought Anthony Rumble Johnson over and Yoel Romero, the two oldest people. It's like, come on. And then they put them against each other. I'm like, what are you doing?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. I think I'm gonna go with oh man, Chris Weidman probably on this one. Just experience. He's a champion fighter. Let's see what
Yeah,
happens.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I'm gonna go with Chris Weidman too. I think Uriah Hall is too hesitant sometimes. He doesn't explode. Like, I think he needs to, explode more. He has moments where he explodes and fights, but other than that, he just basically sits there and then lets people punch him in the face.
Yeah.
It's just that. I don't, you know.
Mm-hmm. All right. Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade.
Ooh, I
Wow.
was thinking, I
Great
was thinking
fight.
about this. I was thinking about this, and I think this is a sleeper fight. I think it can be really competitive, but I think it will be Valentina again. But I think it'll be the toughest test she has faced. Yeah.
I think it's a tough fight for her, no doubt. I think she's gonna edge it off though. I think she's
Yep.
a remarkable fighter. Both of them are. Jessica too. I think Shevchenko's gonna win. All right, moving on to the women's strawweight. What happened to the strawweight division? It seems like the champion hasn't fought in forever. And
Well, she hasn't fought in a year and a half.
yeah, so it's just like wow.
Her last fight was like in November of 2019. So like against Joanna Jacek. So I mean, let's see if there's some ring rust there. I think this fight will be fun to watch. I think that Rose Namajunas will win this, but it's sucks.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say Zhang, the Chinese lady. I think she's gonna win. I think Rose loses.
I think she's just better than her everywhere.
Yeah,
If it goes to the floor, she's getting submitted. Stand up, her jab is unbelievably good. The combinations, her movement, like I don't know. I think that fight will be very competitive also, but I think it will come down to the fifth round and whoever wants it more.
all right. So Rose Namajunas 10-4 for the championship fight. I mean, she could pull it off and be a two-time champion, or Zhang can defend her belt for the first time and be the undisputed champion at strawweight. Either way, it's going to be a great fight. I'm really excited to see Zhang get back in the octagon. I'm also excited for Rose. Rose is fun to watch. She's tough. She's a great competitor. She's a great athlete. It's going to be a great fight. Next is Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal.
Yep.
What do you got?
Usman gets this done. Usman gets this done.
Well, apparently to Masvidal, he seems to think that it was the weight cut is the reason why he lost.
Okay.
I think it's Kamaru Usman 5-round decision, and he beats Masvidal by decision. I don't think he stops him. I don't think he knocks him out, but I don't think Jorge has an answer to Kamaru. I don't think he has an answer. I really don't see it. I don't see how he's better in any area.
I kind of don't want to watch that fight because how the first fight went, it was kind of boring.
It'll be that way again. It'll be that way again.
There was really nothing to be like, oh, you just got punched in the face. That's a good thing. All Kamaru Usman did was hold him against the fence the whole time. It was just, you're not even trying to take him down. It was I don't know. It was to me, it was the most boringest fight.
It was super boring. Yeah. And you know what? This time around, I think he's going to be dominant, completely dominant. But I think it'll be a decision. But we'll see. We'll see.
I think Kobe Covington should be next, or Leon Edwards should be next, or let me throw this at you, Wonder Boy Thompson. He hasn't fought Wonder Boy yet. Usman. He's fought the other two. He's beaten the other two.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't think the UFC will give it to him. Wonder Boy that fight. I think if Valentina Shevchenko wins and the Chinese girl wins, I think they should fight next.
Really? Wow.
Super fight.
Wow. Okay.
Because there is nobody at 125 for Valentina. If she can't go up to 135 because Amanda Nunes is there, I mean, I guess you can just say that trilogy. You can put together that trilogy, but I would rather see the Chinese girl and Valentina.
Yeah. How about that? Nunes defending her belt in August against Julia Pena.
Yep. I think Nunes wins that. It's just no, I just don't see it.
Me too.
And then you have
that's enough for to wrap it up for the podcast. So that's it. And we're gonna have to cut it short, and we'll see you guys next week. Stay tuned.
Yep.
All right, guys. Take care. Don't forget to subscribe to our page.
And like it, share it, comment.
That's right.